Most people recognize the word samurai. They picture swords, armor, and serious faces. But if asked to explain what samurai really were, most people get stuck. Not because the idea is hard, but because the image is misleading. Samurai were not just fighters, they were a social class that quietly shaped how Japan worked for centuries. That is why the word still carries weight today, long after the swords disappeared. At first, samurai were hired fighters. Their job was simple: protect land, enforce order, fight when needed. This part is familiar. What mattered more was how they fought. They were professionals, paid, trained, expected to follow rules. Violence was controlled, not chaotic. Once fighting became organized work, it stopped being just about survival. It became a system. Over time, the people who handled violence also began handling decisions. Constant conflict rewarded discipline and planning. Samurai moved from serving landowners to becoming them. They collected taxes, settled disputes, ran courts. Most days involved paperwork, not battle. That shift changed Japan deeply. Power moved away from old noble families. Stability came from structure, not personality. The same people who enforced order also designed it. To do that, samurai had to learn. Reading and writing were not optional. Understanding records and laws mattered more than strength. Education became practical and widespread. Leadership meant thinking clearly, not just commanding loudly. This habit of learning lasted. When Japan later modernized, it moved fast. The systems already existed. The mindset was already there. Behind the calm image, samurai lived under pressure. Marriage often served politics, not romance. Status shaped private life. Reputation mattered constantly. Desire existed, but control was praised. Not because samurai were emotionless, but because restraint was power. Discipline reached beyond work and war. Writing carefully trained focus. Tea rituals trained patience. Small actions were treated as practice for bigger responsibilities. Culture became a quiet way to teach behavior. Long periods of peace followed. Samurai rarely fought at all. Instead, they managed systems, ranks, rules, records. Society ran on structure rather than force. When the samurai class was later dissolved, the system stayed. Former samurai became officials, teachers, and business leaders. The title vanished. The habit survived. This is where the common image fails. Swords became the symbol. Honor became the story. But those were never the main impact. Samurai mattered because they learned that the pattern lasted long after they were gone. That is usually what gets missed. If any part of this felt new, it probably wasn't because it was hidden. It was because symbols are easier to remember than systems. If something here stood out, leave a comment. And if this feels like something a friend might enjoy, send it their way.